What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are watching Ranger Wrap-Up. Uysa!
Welcome to the Ranger Wrap-Up. As you can see, I am by myself today. I wanted to try a little something different. Hope you guys are fine with that. Today's show is going to be a quick show. I feel like we need the whole team to discuss the whole Hasbro news, but I'm going to give my 2 cents on it. But first off, let us start off by talking about the new episode of Power Rangers Dino Fury. Honestly, I loved it. Leave in the comments below what your favorite part of the episode was, but let me break it down a little bit. Some of the things that I truly enjoyed about this episode. From the start, it starts off exactly where we left off in the last episode. So when Zato talks to Amelia, and he talks to Ollie about wanting to be Power Rangers, and in order to be Power Rangers you have to go through extensive training, and the extensive training comes in the form of locking down the morphing pose. Now, in previous seasons we talked about the morphing pose and how it was never really addressed as far as how do they know to do that? How like does the morpher take full control of their body, and it just puts them in a mode as far as what they're gonna do? I don't know. You know, like we never really know. But this show seems to be a little bit more meta and a little bit more acknowledging those type of questions, which is nice to see from the creators, that they're acknowledging like the memes and the comments that Power Ranger fans have, and I think that's great. I want to talk about like how well the morphing pose was done, as far as the actors themselves really putting a lot of emphasis on some of the poses, especially for Kai Moya, who's I'll show you in this little image. There's a scene where he's just putting his arm a certain way, and it looks very uncomfortable, but the commitment to it is amazing. So yeah, they learn how to morph, and we see the morphing grid little transition, which is really cool. You see it kind of take over their body, which is really cool. You see it kind of just like they connect to the morphing grid is what they're trying to emphasize as far as where the power is coming from, which is another thing that, you know, we never really touched too much upon on previous seasons. I think that's great. So yes, below, put in the comment section or in the live chat what your favorite scene from this show was. And there's a scene where when they transport, they still feel a little queasy. It's not seamless, which is kind of cool. It reminds me a lot of, like, I don't know, scenes like Quicksilver from the Fox universe, where when he transports Magneto, he tells him that you know, just be prepared, because it's gonna be a bumpy ride, or you're gonna feel this. Exactly same like with the Flash, where when the Flash transports Diggle from one of the crossovers they had, he had felt the effects. So we saw Ollie had felt the effects. So we go back to the power station, or I don't know what they want to call it. They're talking to Salon, and Salon has been doing some cleaning, and she finds a little sensor or radar gun that Void Knight uses, which is pretty cool. I know a lot of you fans are probably gonna try to figure out what this actual item is. It looks like a flashlight with some purple accents. So they're learning that they need to find the sporix, and Ollie needs to emphasize that with his mom's technology and this, he can connect the radar gun to the drone and essentially scan the whole city for sporix, and it could cut some of the search time down, which the other Rangers shoot down. And, you know, rightfully so. There is a dangerous side to trying to mix two different types of technologies, and that's something that they emphasize. So they figure out that they have to go and inform the city, either through Buzz Blast or through the local town ranger, forest ranger, and tell them that this is a serious thing. One thing that they address, that Zato has these antennas, and one thing that they address immediately is Zato must hide them in order to look more human, and that kind of reminds me a little bit of like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, where he has 4 arms and he just retracts the other 2. Or even, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a show called Animorphs, but in the second season, or later on in the first season, they come in contact with a young Andalite who, if you don't know what the Andalites look like, they're kind of like centaur looking people, and in order for him to get around, he has to morph into a human, and that's what happens. Put your comments in the comment section below in the live chat if you guys remember Animorphs, if you're old enough to remember Animorphs. But yeah, it was pretty cool seeing that and seeing how that played out. So they go to both the forest ranger and they go to Buzz Blast, and to no avail. No one believes them. Secretly, though, Ollie gives his mom this radar gun and tells him about his plan in order to find the sporix, which is, a tough situation because that's not part of the initial plan, and that's, Ollie's trying to figure out how to be more efficient, and that's something that I really find awesome about him, is that he's trying to think out of the box. But I think, especially with a team, you have to figure out what works for the whole team and not just what works for you, and if it works for the whole plan, which is pretty cool. I loved seeing the interaction between Ollie and his mom. I think that's really great. But on the way to Buzz Blast, we get a little fun Easter egg here. One of the boss of Buzz Blast introduces her team to her new AI robot that's going to be helping her be her little assistant. It's a robot. It's like a cyborg thing, and on the box it says Hartford Robotics, which is a callback to Operation Overdrive. So Easter eggs going to shows that aren't as loved or seen, like Operation Overdrive, is really a deep cut for a show like this, and I think it's really cool. She does this whole presentation thing. It's this wonky robot type thing, which is fine. They figure out that all over social media people are finding sporix, and we get to meet our first sporix. We get to meet Mucus, who is one of the spawn of the new sporix, and it's just pretty cool because the Rangers finally get to interact and morph in order to capture her. So we go back before we go back to that. Ollie and his mom are setting up the radar, and we see that Void Knight is essentially spying on them. He's spying on them. So Ollie has to leave because they said that they have to fight Mucus. They do this whole thing where they finally do the morphing grid the morphing grid connection morph, and they do the actual stance. And it's funny, there's a scene where Zato looks at Ollie's like, yeah, nice, like he did it, he did the form correctly. I like seeing that these actors are fully committed to some of these moves and choreography, and I think that's really cool. So they fight Mucus kind of just turns into a blob, and there's this really cool colorful explosion behind them, and it looks like it's totally CG versus the past few seasons where it was an actual explosion, like pyrotechnics. So it looks like they're trying to save a little bit of money now, and one of the things that's pretty meta is when they do the morph and they do the whole the explosion happens behind them when they fully transform. Mucus acknowledges, oh, that's really colorful and cool. So the little TikToks or memes where they say, oh, Power Rangers morphing, getting ready for battle, and they show the monster just waiting for them, taking their time and watching them. I think that was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool callback to some of those memes, if that's what they're trying to do. I think that's really cool. They fight them, and then they come up against another sporix that was spawned last episode. Gives them a little bit of trouble, and they start using their power-ups. And it's really cool whenever they use their power-ups, which are pretty much auxiliary keys. What they're showing you is they're showing you the key and showing you, oh, kids, buy this key, you know. And I think that's, you know, good for marketing. It's pretty good. The first one that they use is Stink Bomb, which I think is kind of stupid. I don't know if there's a dinosaur that emits any kind of fumes like that, and it kind of knocks them out. But the team kind of retreats. So we go back to the Dino command center, and Ollie reveals that, oh, sorry, I initially gave the drone and told you guys, it didn't tell you guys, you know, I gave my mom the radar and the drone, and they realized that that could put her in the targets of Void Knight. And Void Knight does end up showing up and trying to take the scanner, and they have to save her. And initially, towards the end, Ollie's mom destroys the scanner with the drone, and kind of pushes Void Knight into retreating and sending his monster to town. So we do the whole Zord fight. Ollie and Amelie get the whole power-ups thing, and they both try to take the monster down, even though they're, like, you know, so small compared to it, and lead Zato to call on his Zord. And we finally see the T-Rex come out, and he gets into his battle Zord. And it's pretty cool. I mean, I can't recall if this is footage from You Soldier, but it's pretty cool seeing how dynamic the fight scenes are. So he does this whole thing. It really, like, whenever you get to this point, when you get to the Zords, I feel like sometimes it just gets repetitive. And me noticing it now is it's too early on to be worried, complaining about it. But I was like, you know, maybe like Joe, I'm not really into Zords. So do this whole thing, and he slashes the monster down, and it turns back into a more super powered sporix. So I guess they don't just get destroyed, they get put into this new form of a super powered sporix. And we later on towards the end of the series, we see that Void Knight has his own command center, and he's collecting this super powered sporix and using it to charge something. What he's charging, we don't know yet, but I'm assuming it's his Zord in order to take down the Power Rangers. All in all, I really enjoyed this episode. It's a pretty cool episode. I hope you guys get to watch it. I know it's on at a really random time. It's on at a stupid random time. I don't understand why it's on at that time, but yeah, it's crazy to see that how Nickelodeon plays out, as we'll talk about later. But yeah, so the sporix are kind of like a new form of energy for the bad guys. So it's kind of like, you know what else it reminds me of? It reminds me of Beast Wars, where Beast Wars, both sides are trying to get stasis pods. You know, it's like a race. It's like a race for an object. All in all, I really enjoyed the episode. Put your comments in the put comments in the chat or in the comment section what your favorite episode, what your favorite part of the episode was. Just let us know, and what do you guys rate it? For me, out of 5 stars, I'll give it a 3.5, only because I feel like we haven't seen the best yet of Dino Fury, but I'm super excited about it. Now, going into the main topic of the episode, we are going to be talking about what happened at the Hasbro investor meeting. So initially what they broke it down to is we've got our full confirmation that it's going to be 2 seasons, each 22 episodes, which is great. Whether or not it's both going to be on Nickelodeon, maybe they're going to extend another year into Nickelodeon, or maybe there won't be a long break. That's to be said. Usually most investment meetings, they don't really go into specifics as far as like operations, as far as what they're doing with the show. They're just telling you, hey, this is what we are doing, this is how we're gonna achieve it, this is how we're gonna make your money back, this is how we're going to make our properties profitable, which is the main plan. But one of the things that they do talk about is they are fully on board with Jonathan Entwistle. And Jonathan Entwistle is going to be the architect behind this new Power Rangers franchise, which the words that they used were reinvention and to a broader, make it more accessible to a broader audience, in the form of, they said animation, they said premium TV, so which means that they're going to steer clear a little bit from regular cable and kind of lean towards some form of streaming service for whatever series they are. And what I can gather from this, and we'll talk about this next week also, what I can gather from this is that we are going to be looking at a different form of media for Power Rangers. I'm all on board for animation. I love animation. I have been on board with animation, with anime or with Netflix and all their new animated series. I love Voltron. I feel like Power Rangers could, with right people, right creators, I think that they could be successful with that. I mean, we can see with animation, we can see a large universe for Power Rangers, but from the investor meeting, it is a reboot. It is officially a reboot. They're going to be rebooting the whole series, which leans more to what we were talking about as far as the toy split. A lot of people still worry that this toy split is going to happen or it's not going to happen. After the investment meeting and what the words that they use for it, I want to say 80 to 90% sure that we are going to be using all original footage. Sentai is not really going to play a part into this, and while that angers a lot of people, I feel like it's necessary. I've seen multiple different articles from different outlets that say that the formula for the brand has gotten really stale. The formula for the brand and what they're doing has gotten really stale, which is true. The formula for the brand has gotten really stale, and I think that initially, if in order to be successful, you have to be, open to change. And we've said this many times before on the show. Look at things like AMC, look at things like Blockbuster, look at things like GameStop. If you don't evolve with time, you don't evolve and you don't survive. It's survival of the fittest. And to see Hasbro take initiative and try to be productive in that sort of way, and try to see the future climate of the franchise, and see that what we have now is not currently what's going to work, it makes total sense. And I think that it only makes sense for them to move in this direction. We will talk about it more next week, especially when we get full team. Maybe add another person, get some different insight on that take. But I just want to leave you guys with that, and leave you with that perspective, and to I'd like to definitely see what you guys thought about the episode. I want to see what you guys thought about the whole move, the news about the reboot, 2 seasons, where you think the best place it's gonna be if it stays on Nickelodeon for that. As far as like the future after Dino Fury, it's really too early to start making any speculations or thinking about that right now. Let's get through 2 seasons and enjoy 2 seasons of Dino Fury, because I think we're really gonna enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, we truly do appreciate you guys showing up. It is Saturday, and I really appreciate you guys spending your Saturdays with us. So you guys, we'll be back next week. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and share this with all your friends, and we'll see you next week. Peace.